Gas stations are the perfect network for cars to refuel. Strategically placed, time-tested by competitors, integrated with amenities for convenience, they are the way forward for travel. Or at least they were. Ionna, a new company, is coming for gas stations. Even if gas stations have the power to put the entire company out of business before they even start. But will they? Let's take a look at the future of long-distance travel in the United States. A high-quality level 2 charger starts at about $300 for a person at home. About $1,000 for a business. Installation is more based on complexity, distance from the power source, and the labor cost involved. But out the door, level 2 charger, fully operational, business or otherwise, you're looking at around $2,000 to $3,000, no matter where you are in the United States, or what the circumstances of the installation might be. A DC fast charger can cost anywhere from $40,000 to $350,000 to install end to end. There's no getting around it unless somebody gave you the charger, which does happen. That's the ground up cost of fast charging an EV. There are tons of moving parts and it's impossible to calculate specifically unless we know everything about the location and why it's being installed. Who owns it, how close is it to grid access, permitting, local regulations, etc. And I just wanted to give you those two cost structures up front, just file them in the peanut, they'll be more beneficial later in the video. But now that you have those, we can talk about what Ionna is. First off, Ionna is a conglomerate of automakers that banded together to provide DC fast charging in the United States. And obviously there's plenty of DC fast charging companies out there. The difference is Ionna is customer first. That's their main focus. And they are the first customer focused DC fast charging company, I think. If you know of any others, let me know down in the comments. But I can explain. Tesla superchargers are extremely strategically placed. They're usually 100% optimal for interstate travel. They have partners of every type, and they feature 8-stall installations most of the time. However, other than that, they're really not customer focused at all. Is there a bathroom? How far away is it? Where is the trash can? Are the superchargers covered? The answer to all those is maybe when it comes to Tesla superchargers. And that's okay, because what Tesla has done is made it possible for a Tesla to drive anywhere in North America. And you know what they say, sometimes the second mouse gets the cheese. But in the case of charging, the second mouse didn't even want to be part of the system.
I threw it on the ground. I ain't gonna be part of this system.
Electrify America, as most of us know, was a penalty from the Volkswagen Group for the Dieselgate scandal. They were cheating on emissions testing. They squandered money, wasted resources, and didn't really focus on the customer experience whatsoever, especially regarding the direct service they chose to sell, which was charging. Customer service is easy, but charger uptime? That's harder. And for the first few years, Electrify America either didn't care or didn't consider uptime at all. Or they were purposely malicious about it to slow EV adoption in the United States, for an advantage for Volkswagen Group. Not for me to say, but we'll never know the real answer. Because once again, Electrify America is owned by a company who didn't want to create them, but had to because they cheated and got caught. So one could doubt that any success of Electrify America was any concern of anyone near the top of the power and money pyramid. But was Electrify America even the second mouse as far as DC charging? That was actually ChargePoint, and they could even be considered the first. But once again, customer experience had nothing to do with ChargePoint's supply chain, focus, marketing, demographics, anything else you could think of. ChargePoint doesn't even deal with customers. The business model for ChargePoint is they sell you, the business owner, a charger. They charge you a subscription to run said charger, and that subscription is free initially, but if you stop paying, they really don't care. They'll sit in their server room and count money, and instead of trying to be customer focused or changing the business model so it's more beneficial for consumers, they'd rather maybe hire a consulting firm so that the consulting firm can tell them how to tell customers that they are customer focused, even though they're not. So there's a lot of mice, but the cheese, as far as customer experience, is still there. Will EVgo be the one to get it? I don't know. Remember Enron? The publishers of my college textbooks seem to, because they mention Enron all the time, almost as a model for what to do when growth can't be done. Of course, the professors won't admit that to me, but it's kind of how it looks. But why on earth did I ask about Enron? Well, the actions of that company resulted in EVgo, another penalty company. So yes, the two biggest public charging networks in North America are a result directly of fraudulent crime. And is there anything more American than that? Of course, the ownership of EVgo has changed hands several times, but it has remained a constant that EVgo is kind of the third alternative if you want to charge somewhere, and it's always more expensive than everyone else. On top of the fact that it's also likely the least convenient charging system to get to. I know all of my charging credits that are free for my Honda Prologue are on EVgo. And before I got those credits, I never charged there, and you can bet I won't ever charge there after either. It's part of the fun of not being sponsored by anyone. I get to say my actual opinion on things, and my actual opinion on EVgo is, unfortunately, EVgo has gotten several government contracts and partnered with GM to build out some of the NEVI charging. So all I can do for now regarding EVgo is hope that the customer experience gets better and they find a way to make it less impossibly expensive to charge there. Now that we've met the current players, it's time to talk about why that has anything to do with gas stations. If the world was perfect and progress was embraced by everyone, companies, the government, and the people alike, we wouldn't have Tesla superchargers. We wouldn't have Electrify America or ChargePoint or EVgo, because we already have gas stations. When I hear a YouTuber talk about how conveniently placed a Tesla supercharger is, first of all, it's likely at a gas station, and secondly, there's probably another gas station before that gas station when you get off the interstate. There's always a bright blue sign on the exit ramp. 0.2 miles this way to a gas station, 0.4 miles this way to a gas station. If aliens used the interstate to invade our planet and ran on gasoline, we wouldn't last very long. These locations are not only convenient and customer-focused, but they have multiple options to pay for their products. They have food. They have restrooms. The stations are covered. They have employees and every other thing you could imagine when it comes to human convenience. The customer experience is impossible to compete with. And if they don't follow those rules, well, they probably went out of business already. This is a very mature industry. But that doesn't stop the revolution. Take a look at Buc-ee's. Let's turn the gas station experience into the restaurant experience, into the grocery store experience, into the tourism experience, without sacrificing any of the convenience that comes with a convenience store. And Buc-ee's is a great example of what all gas stations should be doing right now to avoid being shut down or forced to close. There are charging options at a whole bunch of Buc-ee's locations. Buc-ee's is all-inclusive. It is convenient for all people and consumer-focused, with the number one priority being customer experience, to the point where Buc-ee's is not only a convenience store, but a tourist attraction. Once again, from the point of view of alien invasion, if I was going to invade and try to blend in with the human population, I would probably start at a Buc-ee's. I can fuel my vehicle, I can get everything that I would need to wear, including socks and underwear and all other type of clothing. Or if I was Arnold Schwarzenegger and I decided to go to a different universe in the Terminator movie, Buc-ee's is probably where I'd want to go. I wouldn't have to rob any bikers for my clothing.
Give them to me, now.
The last time I went to a Buc-ee's, I bought some hot sauce. Why not? They have a whole collection. Other than that, though, all other gas stations, with the exception of some brands, sometimes are becoming more and more exclusive. What does that mean? If I drive an EV, why would I ever stop there? They are not designed for me to stop at. They are exclusively catered to those who use gasoline. Once again, not all gas stations. Buc-ee's offers charging, Sheetz, Wawa. There are large companies that do offer charging, but not every Sheetz has a charger. Not every Wawa has EVgo. But what if they all did? And this is where Ionna comes in. They're trying to duplicate that experience. It starts with this button right here on their website. Bring a rechargery to your community. If you have a better restaurant and want a second satellite location, or your current location could benefit from DC charging, and you sell, I don't know, anything humans consume and would walk in to buy, all you have to do now is reach out to Ionna, and they may reach back out to you and offer you a charger opportunity. And all of a sudden, you're on the fast track to having a competitive advantage over everyone else that does the same thing you do in your area, because you have DC fast chargers. Ionna's rechargeries will feature 24/7 charging along with restrooms and vending, but in addition, at some locations, there'll be local businesses that run the sites and offer local-style cuisine as well. There'll be lounges, convenient places to sit, and meeting rooms that can be rented or leased. This is vertical integration for the auto industry. Not only do they build the cars, they get to profit from their sale without having to sell them, and now they get to profit from the fuel without having to employ anyone. And if you're one of the proud owners of a local gas station, watch your back. Ionna wants to put you out of business. Like I said, automakers don't own their dealerships, but they do own Ionna. They were smart. They took notes from the ChargePoint business model. They won't have to worry about any of the personal interactions of any of the people ever. That goes to the local business with the lease to the building. Well, the annoying maintenance at least. They will have a maintenance team for their chargers, they claim. But since Tesla is the only company that's been able to have reliable chargers so far, I'm going to go TBD on the maintenance team being effective at all. Remember, these companies that formed Ionna still sell a ton of gas cars. They wouldn't want the experience to be too good, would they? So as far as charger uptime, I'll believe it when I see it. The goal of Ionna is to make EV charging viable for the everyman, if you will. And I believe they intend to put gas stations out of business in the interim. But it's not like gas stations don't have any power. They could stop this immediately, right in its tracks. And I'll provide all the options for what they can do here in just a minute. Regarding Ionna, however, their sign-up form to bring that rechargery to their local area reveals what they're really trying to do here. And it's straight out of McDonald's playbook. Supermarkets, QSR, that's fast food, just landowners in general, and of course the ever-coveted shopping center. But if you're a local government, they didn't leave you out either. There's an other button too. This is straight out of the McDonald's playbook. 8 automakers are looking to make a land grab of some of the most valuable land in the United States of America. Location, 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 right? As a result of this form, Ionna is able to find land for sale that could be impossible to acquire otherwise or expensive to locate at least. So if Ionna wants to partner with gas stations, how could their strategy be to put them out of business? Well, that's the other box on the form. Willing to subdivide land parcel. If a gas station is going out of business, or for any other reason, the land and or business that the gas station is on is up for sale, Ionna would be the first viable candidate to buy it if they own the land beside it. Would they not? So, what can gas stations do to stop Ionna? They're powerful. There's 8 companies. It's obviously well-funded. It was nothing in February, and they're about to launch their first charging center, and they have a whole bunch of plans, like 30,000 stalls. That's more than there are superchargers by 2030. And 2030 used to be a big bad word that was long away, but it's only 5 years from now. So what can gas stations do to stop the madness? Install charging themselves. And I've got a solution that would cost next to nothing. The cost would pay for itself in less than 5 years, and the gas stations would be able to preserve EV customers instead of alienating them. Because that's what's happening. I don't ever want to stop at a gas station ever again, unless they have charging. I feel different when I pull into a gas station and they have a charger. When I pull into LaVale, for example, near Cumberland, I feel good about the fact that that Sheetz has a version 2 supercharger, which means they've had supercharging for a long time. It makes me want to give Sheetz my money. And isn't that why convenience stores and gas stations are in business in the first place? To make money? So at this point, gas stations have lost a customer for life. But here's the rub. In all my research and experience, from my finance degree to direct employment as an advertising salesman, never have I ever seen a more steadfast anti-profit sentiment like the one that's currently being waged between those wanting to charge electric vehicles and those that could potentially provide that service. And at this point, as far as gas stations, you could have had a monopoly. But it's too late. The competition is here and they intend to put you out of business, whether implied, accidentally, or as a victim of circumstance. However, like I stated earlier, gas stations are a mature industry and no stranger to competition. So what's the best way for gas stations to compete now, since they decided not to before? Let's break it down by 4 potential advantages. The best solution is to simply install charging stations. Cheap ones, good ones, quick to install ones, whatever makes sense for the location and population. For example, in the DC metro area, there's going to be steep competition in every aspect: charging speed, convenience of location, amenities, cost per kilowatt hour, distance from major thoroughfares, literally all of it. But in West Union, West Virginia, for example, a town of less than 700 people that's at least 30 miles from a charger of any type, yet still lies directly adjacent to the coast-to-coast US Route 50, a 40 kilowatt, $20,000 single cabinet, 2-car Autel unit for the BP or maybe the food court beside of it, would likely serve the entire local community and any and all potential travelers as well. I can see the PlugShare comments now. 40 kilowatts, but great to be here. But $20,000 is as cheap as it gets for the cabinet, and that's just the cabinet. But here's the result. Foot traffic would definitely increase in both situations. There's nowhere else to stop on Route 50, and currently EV drivers avoid that thoroughfare altogether. There's nowhere to charge. They can't drive that way. You would be single-handedly opening tourism to the local area, and 10% of new car buyers would now be traveling through your area and extremely likely to stop at your specific location. So there's a huge net benefit, but an extremely high upfront cost, and probably a decent amount of time to realize that benefit. But that's the best way. Then we have the easiest way. Call a provider like ChargePoint. Tell them you want a couple level 2 units and give them the number to your preferred electrician. Sign up for a subscription that includes maintenance, and within a couple months, your gas station would have level 2 charging. It's a known provider. The profit you make from selling the electricity can offset some of the costs of the subscription, and in the event that travelers would want to stop in, they could charge. They won't, but they could. People don't like to pay for level 2 charging, and there are a lot of alternatives where they don't have to, so you're at the very bottom of a very long list. Level 2 charging barely costs any money to install, and EV drivers know that. They bought them for themselves in their homes. So other than being able to say you have level 2 charging and maybe a little point on a map or an app somewhere, that's really all the benefit of the easiest way. Then there's the free way. Free for you, the gas station owner. And yes, it's not totally free. There's an upfront investment and a payback period for the avoidance of doubt. The freeway says first you need a level 2 charger. Like we said earlier, that's like $2,000-$3,000 installed.
Just file them in the peanut.
But how is that free? That's $2,000 to $3,000. That's when you call the solar installer. You put a few kilowatts on the roof, whether it's your canopy where your gas stations are housed or the roof of the building, whatever permitting allows, or the company that gives you the gasoline allows. And you don't need much, but it is likely to run $5,000 to $10,000 to do that. And of course, there are local and federal incentives, at least right now. Either way, the level 2 charging you install, you make it free, and you get kind of the same result as you would from having that DC fast charger, except at a little bit of a lower level. The net benefit is there, it's just not quite as much net benefit as far as foot traffic. But remember, it's free. Over about 5 to 10 years, this will definitely pay for itself, whether anyone uses the charger or not, as a result of the solar panels. And if that doesn't sound low cost enough, as far as the payback period, you could host a local fundraiser and use that as an awareness campaign for your free charging. People like free charging, and there are a lot of folks out here who are willing to give you money to install it. So the free method is a long walk, but it's cheaper than the easy way, way less cost than the best way, and you'll still have that same net benefit. Finally, there's the maximum value for money method, and that's just the free way without the solar panels. Just put in free level 2 charging, 1 stall, 2 stalls, just a parking place, and a 240 or 208 volt, whatever your access is, charging unit. That's it. You get net benefit. People know there's a free charger, you have a gas station already, so you probably have a very convenient location, and people like me might even stop in when we never would otherwise. And remember, it's level 2, so we might spend a significant amount of time there and be willing to spend a significant amount of money on some of your extremely high-priced, high-profit convenience items. And that's what gas stations can do to combat Ionna. The automakers want vertical integration. They want to be able to profit from everything that happens to their vehicles, and I don't blame them. Besides, why didn't they offer charging in the first place? Any company that builds something that needs to charge like that and then not offer the charging service is kind of doing every customer a disservice anyway. Here's your spaghetti. Sorry, no silverware. So this new company, Ionna, intends to build a user-friendly, amenity-rich, customer-focused charging experience for the everyman. So will it work? Will gas stations go out of business? We'll find out when we know what the cost of the kilowatt hour is. How did Michael Jackson get so good so young? He watched the greats and copied them. And I think Ionna is going to break one of the cardinal rules of competition. Don't try to luxury a regular. They should study the greats here, aka gas stations, aka the places that fiercely compete over commodity pricing. Sell the lifesavers in coffee for stupid markups. Stupid markups. $4 a bottle, $5 a cup. Make them even more expensive if they don't join your special loyalty program, which is just another data broker privacy policy. But set the commodity at the lowest reasonable market price. I asked Ionna what the price per kilowatt hour was going to be, and they said this. Hello, Adam. Thank you for reaching out to Ionna. We greatly appreciate your interest. Our pricing is location dependent, as there are many factors involved in pricing. Utility costs are different based on location, and we take that into consideration as well. We highly advise joining our mailing list and following our social media. This way, when we have a rechargery station opening in your area, you'll be one of the first to know. We're chock full of updates, and we appreciate you wanting to stay in the know. To receive the latest Ionna news, please fill out this form on the website. I'm sure they don't know where I live, because I'll never get a rechargery, probably ever in West Virginia. I don't know how I would know that, and the fact that they aren't going to tell me how much it costs, well, kinda says a lot. And you may want to defend Ionna here by saying they offer something nobody else offers. But that's not it at all. 8 automakers don't want to build charging for the cars they sold. You'd think they'd just reach out to gas stations here. But instead, they've decided to compete. Okay, but in order to do that, you have to offer customers a reason to pull into the parking lot. If someone told me at an Ionna station, while I'm plugged in, that down the road there is a 62 kilowatt charge point station with one stall offering 39 cents per kilowatt hour, which is much more competitive and reasonable, and Ionna wants 60 cents, which they're definitely going to want 60 cents. I am 100 times out of 100 going to unplug and go gamble at the 62 kilowatt charge point. I will hold my bladder. They said their local business tenants will get lower lease rates in exchange for the maintenance, but they'll never offer the customer a reasonable rate. And to that end, I ask, why not? Let's face it, EVs need to go back to this and stop selling this. The days of the $75,000 luxury electric SUV are numbered. The adopters have adopted. The Model S gets free supercharging right now. The Lucid Air is $50,000 less than it was at launch. When I went to drive the Rivian R1 series, Gen 2, there was nowhere to park because there was so much inventory. This era is over. It's time to wake up and realize 250 miles is enough range, and 4 seats with a decent-sized trunk is enough car. Finally, how badly do you want to insult the apartment dweller? They pay for electricity. They know how much it costs, and you're going to want 6 times that. Why? Is it gold-plated electricity? Ionna exists only because gas stations thought they would cannibalize their current business by jumping into another one, when really, they'll save themselves. And instead of automakers jumping on and saying, you know what, we can make a reasonable profit from this, they've decided to do a land grab instead. And they're only going to build in high-traffic metropolitan areas. You know how much rural areas need charging? Meanwhile, I'll be down the road at the 62 kilowatt, holding my bladder. The Ionna business model, in my opinion, is 3 years too late. And if it was a public company, the IPO would go, I don't know, something like Rivian's. And that's the whole reason I made this video. What are your thoughts? Are gas stations stupid for not offering charging? Is the Ionna and most recently the Rove business model something that can be profited from, or is it even sustainable at all? And do we just need more level 2s at your regular grocery store or local pub that you like to frequent? Let me know your thoughts below. Want to know how I road trip? I've got a couple of really important road trip videos, and one specifically focused on charging coming up. Hit subscribe. You don't want to miss them. They're relevant for every EV owner. Join Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access to videos. Once again, hit that subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey! Smash the like button!
Thank you.